More and more these days, from youth sports up to professional sports, mental stress, just like physical injury, is a big part of the game. Now, the various levels of stress, like not receiving the college athletic scholarship you work so hard for, can be disappointing, even crushing. For others, career-ending injuries can mentally put your plans and hopes on hold. And when you realize that your dream to participate in sports at the collegiate or professional level will not happen, how do you move on with the rest of your life? I've interviewed him several times in the studio. Joining me in the studio today is Lloyd Rodriguez, Executive Director of the Brooklyn Pitbulls. Welcome back. Also, Healthy Minds of Brooklyn.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. Always glad to be here.
And also social therapist, practicing social therapist, Samuel Williams. Welcome.
Thank you.
And what else? This is your first time here. Expand on what else have you been up to these days?
I'm also the mental health liaison, community mental health liaison for Senator Jesse Hamilton in the 20th District in Brooklyn.
You know what? When that football career is over at the collegiate or the professional level or the high school level, how do you mentally move on when you've been preparing for that moment, maybe to play on Saturday or Sunday?
Well, you know, I got a chance to speak to an athlete very close to me, and you know, he said, you know, I've been preparing football all my life. That's all I know. What am I going to do? But one of the things that he did do, he's about to finish on his degree, and he did some internship, which was very good for him. And so, therefore, he's focused on that internship which he did. But you know, it's for most kids, they're focusing on NFL. They're focusing on, you know, going some either league and maybe Canadian football or somewhere around the world.
Is it all just football too?
Oh, with a lot of the kids, it really is.
Is there basketball? Is there the other sports?
Well, I think it's in all sports. You know, basketball, football, yeah.
How does one move on once it's over?
Well,
from your perspective.
Well, the transition from professional sports, there are definitely challenges in terms of the level of performance is different. The stressors are definitely different. You're no longer in the limelight anymore, so your disposition changes entirely. The stressors that making the transition from a profession to another form of life can also be very stressful. In anticipating what can or cannot happen. You're no longer in your normal mode of operation.
Has this always been like this 30 years ago, 40 years ago? And is all this mental stress media-driven, social media-driven to a degree? Because, you know, 30, 40 years ago, the money wasn't there like it is. The glamour wasn't there like it is. The videos, the computers, the laptops, it wasn't here. So is this all media-driven and also parental involvement? How much are they involved and how much are they putting pressure on these young men and young women to make it as their ticket out?
Well, I can say for me, when I used to play football in the 70s, you know, it was just fun. I loved the game. You know, we go out every Saturday. We come home from school, we play. But today, even I was guilty of it. You know, when you think about the expense for college, and you think about, okay, you know, you have quite, you know, I have four children of my own, and you know, we're a sports house, so you know, we figure, you know, we want to go to good schools, then we got to work. And so I would train my kids, you know, preparing for scholarship. You know, we would work on them academically, but then I would get out there and run them and train them. And sometimes you get a little crazy. And you know, I even remember when I told my daughter, you know, I said, listen, you know, I was pushing it too hard, and then I had to fall back a little. I said, you know something, you're going to go to college no matter what. I love you no matter what. And when I told her that, her game just shot through the roof.
Is there too much pressure because you used to play the game maybe 30, 40 years ago just to play the game? Now there's a goal in mind, maybe to go to prep school, maybe to get that college scholarship, maybe to play on Saturdays or Sundays.
Yeah, the roots of expectation that parents have on their children, especially if they're performing athletically, may be tremendous in terms of what they expect from their child. And looking at it from a child's perspective, what type of stresses that they're encountering in terms of letting their parents down, this can be overwhelming at times and can lead to other forms of depression and the like. Stress is something that's universal, and it has its roots in the expectations and trauma that may be associated with what the parents expect.
When you look at what's going on also, are coaches equipped to deal with mental illness? I mean, you have players who perhaps may be bipolar, you have other forms of it. How does a coach deal with all this, even at the youth football level?
Right. Well, one of the things that I started, something personal, had a personal experience in my life, and to change my thinking. And so I started a program called Healthy Minds of Brooklyn. And basically, what we're trying to do is catch kids, because we coach them and they trust us, and we as coaches see a lot. So what I did with my program, I got my whole staff certified in youth first aid, mental health first aid. And and when you go through this training, the certification, you begin to realize there's a lot of things as coaches we're actually breaking kids, and at the same time, but we really don't know what good are we doing or what harm are we doing. And then it's very important to know what's going on in these, in the youth in their homes.
Also, when a player or an athlete has these situations, can that player be seen as a weak link on the team? He's not tough enough. You're soft. You're whatever. Can that also harm the player to a degree to not go and get help?
Absolutely. The stigma that's associated with being perceived as weak, mentally weak, goes beyond the playing arena, but actually has its roots in the military and society in general, in terms of our concepts of what a strong person should be. To have a mental illness was always perceived in most cultures either non-existent or a form of weakness or curse. And that's when the ostracism of individuals with a mental illness tends to drive people in the proverbial closet, and they become isolated until the illness becomes more pronounced.
Support groups. What support groups are out there?
You have a number of different support groups. You have the National Association for the Mentally Ill out there. You have youth groups out there, such as Healthy Minds Brooklyn. You have individual organizations out there that deal with mental health, that runs the gamut, that deals with individuals who are teenagers to gay and lesbians as well.
Also, it seems like the NCAA has stepped up also.
Yeah, I was reading quite a few articles since my son, daughter, went to college and played sports. One of the things that they did realize that there's a lot of stress, on athletes, especially athletes in all sports in college. And, even, again, my son was in a situation where he had an injury. Now, injury, if you're looking to have a breakout season, all of a sudden you get an injury that sets you back. And then, when you're playing Division I, some of the coaches, they question whether you're going to be there. So now he's under the stress of performing, falling down in the charts, and after all of this, he still has to go to class and perform well.
And will he have a scholarship next year?
And will he have a scholarship?
The other question, what are you up to these days also?
Well,
you had a number of people involved in your Healthy Minds organization?
Yeah, so, one of the things what we're doing is we're working with my youth program, and we want to expand out to other programs, but we want every youth program throughout the country, if they can just, get that certification for youth mental health first aid, and then this could be a nationwide thing. I think if we can get certified for concussions, we could also get certified for youth, for the mental illness.
All right. Okay, also, are we getting better at this now? I mean, are we becoming more accepting of it? Are we, as a society, as athletes, are athletes a little bit more supportive and sensitive?
I would say in the New York area, you have a number of different programs out there. The initiative that's been started by Shirley McRae, the First Lady, has a Thrive New York initiative, which is also expending more resources in terms of providing mental health services for underserved communities in particularly. Also, you have the Senator's Office of Senator Hamilton that's also addressing the mental health issue.
Real quick, sex breakdown. Is this more of a problem with males or females?
It seems to be more in terms of the lack of acknowledgement of it happens to be more amongst males. The issues of aggression, we don't talk about the issue of trauma, which is a significant piece in not only domestic, but also gun violence and the like, all has an impact in terms of the mental health of our communities.
Sam, we got to go. Thanks for coming. I'm going to try to have you back again. Lloyd, got to have you back.